What's up, everyone? How's it going today? Before I start rambling, some quick words and shoutouts. Obviously, you can click the link down below. Come join Nerd Night Gaming. It's the page that we've been talking about. We have a lot of really good prize tournaments. We started holding one-day tournaments where you have to finish the whole thing in one day. We hold our weekly locals at 5 p.m. Central every Monday night. So if you want to do either of those things, come on over. If you want a chance at winning some really high rarity, expensive cards at a fraction of the cost, click that link down below. If you want to possibly play against me in some tournaments, because I don't play in my own tournaments, come join us at Scroll and Lock Gaming or the Nexus Championship Series, who holds a weekly locals at 6 p.m. Central on Wednesday on EDO Pro. Both of their links are down below as well. So thank you to them guys for hosting some really fun tournaments, and be sure to check them out. Also, as you see on the screen, we want to give another quick shout out and thanks to our friends over at Yu-Gi-Oh! Limburg. They have some really great products. You guys have asked me about this playmat in particular, and this is where I got it from. These guys hooked me up. So yeah, talk to them, get a hold of them, and given everything going on in the world right now, I'm not sure how their shipping will work, but you can try, and they do, at least did, ship to the United States, and I'd assume pretty much worldwide. Get a hold of them and see what else they got. Personally, as I have this one, but as much as I like it too, I really like this playmat. Just all the Ghost Girls. I touched on it quick in another video recently, but I do plan on getting this one soon, so you guys could do what I'm doing and get this awesome playmat. Moving forward, so why are we here today? Instead of doing another 90-minute video, we broke it up into a few smaller videos. As of right now, it's going to be 4 parts, so this helps us record, edit, upload, do all that stuff, but it also helps you guys not lose track and get bored when you're 50 minutes into a video. If you can watch 4 20-minute videos, it's much easier to keep paying attention and actually want to watch it, and then you can watch the next one when you have time and you don't feel obligated to just watch the entire thing. Without further ado though, welcome to How to Play Cyber Dragons Episode 1, Getting to Know the Cards. First, we're going to talk about cards that are pretty agreed upon as staples. For the most part, cards you should be playing in your deck. Obviously, different variants may mess with this slightly, but we'll talk about that more in Episode 3 in variants and combos. If this sounds like something you want to make sure you don't miss, make sure you hit that subscribe button, guys, because we're going to cover everything from tech choices, hand traps, combo library, and Cyber Dragons versus the meta throughout these 4 videos. And today we're just going to kind of talk about all the cards and get you guys familiar with them and the archetype and what have you. So Cyber Dragon, obviously, we're playing Cyber Dragons. You're going to be playing a Cyber Dragon. Emphasis on because trending lately, I've seen a lot more people doing it, and everyone knows I support this wholeheartedly, playing just one. So the idea here is raising consistency and the ability to play more counters for the meta while still being able to OTK and build the boards we want. The other call is playing 3, which allows for a lot more combos to be done and a much higher ceiling. Neither answer is wrong. It depends on your approach and what you want from the deck. The 1 Cyber Dragon builds really didn't get a chance to take off before the lockdowns happened, and obviously 3 Cyber Dragon has proven to be a little successful at least. And fun fact, 2019, Cyber Dragon variants had the 6th most YCS top 8s out of every deck out there. Let that sink in, guys, when people say Cyber Dragons don't ever do anything. So we're going to move on a little bit. There's not too much more to talk about, just special summons itself, free level 5. Like I said, we don't have enough real life big tournaments, anything like that, to prove what's better, 1, 3. So until then, it's kind of subjective to your opinion and how you want your deck to focus. Combos more, a higher ceiling, stuff like that. Like, there is no answer as of right now to which is the better. So we're going to move on. Hopefully the internet will actually cooperate with us really well and we can go through these quicker. I figured this way is easier, shows you a much better visual, plus we get some really cool ads off to the side there. But instead of using like EDO Pro where you just barely see anything on the screen and more or less hear me talking. So Core, one of our best starters, searchers. The graveyard effect can summon any Cyber Dragon monster, not just the original, and if the summon of Core is negated, that means the search never attempted, Therefore, yes, you can use the graveyard effect assuming that they have a monster on board. Using cards like Cyberload Fusion or Overflow to dodge on the field negates is another way to really get the full effect of your core. And what I mean by that is, assuming you have a Banished Cyber Dragon or another one on the board, and you summon core, they try to play Impermanence, Veiler, any on the field negate, you can chain the Cyberload or Overflow if it was previously set. Remove core from the field, their impermanence or whatever loses its target, the effect does resolve. Keep in mind, if you do that with Cyberload and into a Rampage, you will not get the pop of Rampage, because in order for that, it needs to be Chain Link 1 to get the not to miss timing. Moving forward, we're kind of just going in order too with all these, so we'll go cover main deck like monsters, then spells, traps, and on to the extra deck, starting with fusions. So Cyber Dragon Hurts. This probably our best extender. We do not want to take a survey. No, thank you. So hers is our best extender. It helps make all of our boards. You're never sad to see hers in your opening hand. But it can also recover core or Naxter from your graveyard. And if you have another hers in the graveyard, you can get that one back to your hand and just kind of pseudo loop them and kind of stall for a little bit if you need. I've done it and won games because of it. You can only search out the OG Cyber Dragon from your deck. Unlike core, this specifically says Cyber Dragon, whereas core says Cyber Dragon Monster. So from the deck, you can only grab the OG, but from the graveyard, you can get any card named Cyber Dragon in the graveyard. So like your Seeger, your core, your Hertz, your Naxter, your Fear, if you're playing the others, them. Keeping in mind too, you can take your Seeger and add it back to your extra deck. I've done that before because I wasn't able to get it back from the graveyard, but if I could summon it, I'd win the game. So you put it back in your extra deck, and then you can re-link summon it. Hertz does not target, and you can chain block with Soldier. So keep that in mind. If they say Hertz goes to the graveyard and they try and chain DD Crow, don't tell them what you're going to summon, because Hertz doesn't target. It can get hit by Bell, Ghost Bell, or Ash Blossom, either one, because the effect, sorry guys, because the effect includes from the graveyard or from the deck. Continuing on to the newest one, Cyber Dragon Naxter. So Cyber Dragon Naxter really is a great card for us, and why? Because it gives us a recovery option. It helps us push for game if needed. It's another name. It's another level 1, but it just gives us a little more utility, and that really does come up, especially because it turns Rev System into a +1 if you rev back Naxter and then you revive something else too. Just one little interaction. But you can really push for game after you start doing your combo, or you can come back when it seems like all hope is gone. It's great to special summon off of course graveyard effect, and for the most part it'll revive anything you need. Your Seeger, your Rampage, Nova, Infinity. Say your Nova gets Nibiru'd and you summon your Rampage, because yes you can, because it's an effect that sent Nova to the graveyard. And then Rampage, assuming you did not use Hertz yet, send Hertz and Naxter to the graveyard, special summon or add Naxter to your hand, then you special summon it, bring your Nova back, and you can still make your Infinity. Another fun interaction with Naxter, if you use Rampage to go into your Nova, Rampage can mill Naxter, then Rampage plus another level 5 machine into Nova. Nova detach Rampage to summon Naxter, and then Naxter can revive that same Rampage. Then you go into your Infinity, you still have your Rampage, you can mill 2 again because it's a soft once per turn, and OTK your opponent that way. That's it for main deck Cyber Dragon monsters. We're going to go on to the one that's basically a Cyber Dragon monster. Galaxy Soldier, level 5, light machines, special summons itself, searches itself, discards a Cyber Dragon to make Repair Plant live if needed. Just really does everything you could want for us. Fantastic extender, whether you play 2 or 3, kind of like the whole Cyber Dragon debate. It's kind of, we gotta wait till there's more real events, guys, more big events, until something really happens with the deck that we can say, hey, this is the most optimal way to play. But until then, it's kind of up in the air. 2 or 3, pick your poison. But yeah, or Galaxy Soldier, this does so much for the deck. Basically a Cyber Dragon card. And that'll be it for our main deck monsters. So we're going to go ahead and into our spells that are the staples. First one being our mandatory 3 of Cyber Emergency. So adding a light machine monster that cannot be normal summoned or set. So Cyber Eltanin or 1 Cyber Dragon monster. Okay, that's where we're going to use it the most, from your deck to your hand. If the activation happens to get negated, you can actually discard a card, add it back to your hand, and since it was technically never activated, you can activate another one. So that's pretty good. Usually won't happen. Smart players will wait and negate the monster you summon off of it instead of negating it because they know that. But once in a while it comes up. So moving forward, Cyber Repair Plant, our other searcher. This one does search out our Kaiju. It does search out our Galaxy Soldier, whereas Emergency does not to either, because both can be normal summoned. But the thing people don't ever use this card for, I feel like, is actually something that can come up decently often. If you play Machine Dupe, you can use the second effect, target a light machine monster, Cyber Dragon, in your graveyard, target it, and shuffle it back into your deck. Cool, that's pretty good. If you have 3 Cyber Dragons in your graveyard, that'll happen a lot. You can use both effects in sequence, obviously. So you'd target your light machine in the graveyard, then you'd search a monster, then you shuffle the target back into the deck. So let's say you already used your Galaxy Soldiers. So you have 2 Galaxy Soldiers in the graveyard. If you're playing 3, you have 1 in your deck. You activate Repair Plant to search out the third. Target 1 light machine monster in your graveyard, Galaxy Soldier. Then add 1 light machine monster from your deck to your hand. You add the third copy from your deck to your hand. Then you shuffle the target, your second Galaxy Soldier, back into your deck. Now you summon your third soldier, you search out the soldier you just put back into your deck, and you can use the Galaxy Soldier combo twice without having a brick, as some would say, in your deck. Otherwise, like we said, keeping your machine duplication live by putting an OG back into the deck. The fusion spell, best fusion spell for the deck, period. Verde confirms that. Verde really made playing this the best fusion spell for us. I can't say it enough. It's the only one I would consider a staple. We actually have 1 in each of these 3 categories: staples, preference, and Power-crept, which we'll talk about in a bit. Most of you probably already know the other 2, but this uses resources you already played, and now we can play it out of our deck after our combo, so it's pretty darn good. It can be an extender because it summons a level 5 machine that can happen to mill Hertz with something else to get a core or a Naxxer or whatever back to your hand. And additionally, it's a win button. It's one of our few, we have a lot, one of our win buttons, so that's also really, really good. On to the trap, Cybernetic Overflow. So it doesn't target, it doesn't have a cost, it pops 1 to 4. Thank you. Like, yes, please. Why would you not play this card? I actually highly recommend 2, but it can also search something out if it's destroyed. Keep in mind, if you activate it and they play a card that negates and destroys it, you do not get the search, as in the activation step, phase, whatever you want to call it. In that process, it's not considered on the field, but say they attempt to destroy it and you chain it, or you activate it and they play something to destroy it for whatever reason, thinking it won't resolve or something. In both of those cases, as long as the activation's not negated, it will search out a card, and you can even search out another copy of itself if that's something you want. You can search out your Cyberload Fusion to, well, summon Rampage off the monsters you just banished. I was actually at a regional the one time, and he had 1 card on the field. I had core on the field, well, core in my hand, a set Overflow, and Hertz in the graveyard. I summoned core. His set card was Infinite Impermanence. He used it on my core. I chained my Overflow, banished my Hertz and my core, even though he only had 2 cards on the field, and then I sorry, losing my train of thought here. I went to pop his field spell, because I believe it was Salamangreat, and his Impermanence, the only 2 cards he had, and he was confused why I was trying to pop his Impermanence, but it was because I was making sure my core's effect resolves, and now I had core and hertz banished, so I could use cyberload fusion, and then I ended up winning the game. So, moving forward, sorry, it's getting late, I'm watching TV, and staring at these pages on pages of notes I have to try and stay focused on this video is not always the easiest thing to do. Oh, misspelling, so we're going to go Chimera Tech, the one that doesn't pop up. Of course, the one that's just getting reprinted as a secret rare, so that's going to be really, really sweet. So, Chimera Tech Mega Fleet Dragon. Links are still very relevant. Links are still used in most new decks, and they still need them. You can use either field. So if they bore load your Infinity and you get the turn back, you can use Infinity and Mega Fleet still, or Infinity and bore load for Mega Fleet. Either side of the field. Same with Fortress Dragon. Some people apparently don't understand that, and it's kind of funny when it happens. So the other one, Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon now, is this one actually requires Cyber Dragon, not just Cyber Dragon Monster. Mega Fleet, you can set one of the babies and use it still because it is a Cyber Dragon monster still while set. They are not Cyber Dragon while set, so you cannot do that with Fortress unless it's the OG. Keeping in mind, it requires Cyber Dragon plus one machine monster. If, say, Relinquished Anima equips a Cyber Dragon, okay, it doesn't need Cyber Dragon monster. It needs Cyber Dragon. Despite being an quote-unquote equip spell, it is still Cyber Dragon, so you can use it from the spell zone to make a Fortress Dragon. Again, you cannot for Mega Fleet because Mega Fleet specifically says monster. Neither one can be used as fusion material. Keep in mind, contact fusion like this, that's an unofficial term by the way, is still using fusion materials. How do we know that? Its attack is 1,000 times the number of fusion materials. The fusion materials are the materials used to summon a fusion monster, not necessarily used to fusion summon a monster, if that makes sense. If not, get in line. Lots of stuff from Konami doesn't really make too much sense, but so keep that in mind. Cards used to summon a fusion monster are fusion materials, not necessarily used as fusion, like for a fusion spell. So, Fortress, it's an easy out to a searchable kaiju, which we have in the deck, and it's good versus any machine-based deck. Orca Striker, Mirror Match, stuff like that. Appliancers just came out. Who knows how good they're going to be. So, yeah, keep that in mind. Cyber Dragon Nova is the next one. It definitely would have been faster if I just had the whole list here for you guys, but I'm still happy to give you guys the bigger, better visual. So Cyber Dragon Nova, 2 level 5 machines. You can OTK or make Infinity. You can revive a Cyber Dragon to extend. You can revive Hertz in attack position to absorb it with Infinity to gain advantage on your opponent's turn when you negate their effect. Really important to know that. If sent from your possession, keyword is possession. Special summon a fusion machine monster. So keyword being possession. Possession includes hand, deck, extra deck, field. So if they Solemn Judgment your Nova, yes, you get the effect. If they Mega Zaborg it, yes, you get the effect because extra deck is possession. It does not say anywhere in the text about going from the field to the graveyard. Possession is the key word. If we talk about Cyber Dragon Nova, you all know what is coming next. Cyber Dragon Infinity, our big bad boss monster. So Negate Destroy is actually really good, and sucks that they use the bad art. OG art, always better, at least for Infinity. So 3 level 6 light machine monsters. Wow, we can't make that. It's actually really hard to do. Not impossible, especially with new cards, but it's not likely to happen. You're more likely to do it with like the Raid Raptors and the rank up spell. But anyway, once per turn, keep in mind, once per turn, you cannot overlay Infinity onto Nova twice in the same turn. You can revive an Infinity from the graveyard and overlay onto a Nova once per turn, like both summon 2 Infinity that way, but you cannot overlay onto Nova twice in one turn. The negate and the attached are both soft once per turns. What does that mean? That means that if you have two infinities, both can negate, both can attach. The only once per turn that is a hard once per turn is the summoning over Nova. Let's go on to some link monsters now. So we're not actually going to talk about Seeger first. We're going to start with our link 1. That is mandatory if you want to be as competitive as possible in pure, at least. Salamangreat Almirage. So why Almirage? It's consistency card, makes Repair Plant really live. We had Link Haribo for like Maxter for Hertz, but Almirage also allows us to summon our core, search Repair Plant, link it off, use Repair Plant. So that's really good. Also, the protection effect definitely does come up. You can, even if you know they're playing Mega Fleet, you can just use it in the standby phase. Keep in mind the protection does not stop you from getting Mega Fleeted if they put something in the extra monster zone and wish to use their own card. Another effect that I don't see anybody talk about or using, when a normal summon monster you control is destroyed by battle while this is in your graveyard, special summon this card. This is not going to come up very often where it helps, but there are times where your opponent will not have another monster, they won't be able to attack, and they attack your normal summon monster. You then bring this back from your graveyard. Now on your turn you have a free link material. It's free body. It's never a bad thing, guys. So keep that in the back of your mind if you're ever in that situation. Now, however, we are going to talk about our link monster, Cyber Dragon Seeger. So basically the reason Power Bond's Power-crept. For the most part, I actually wasn't playing Power Bond. I guess I still played one usually. But so 2 machine monsters including Cyber Dragon. Pretty good. It's great for a potential beater on its own because it's essentially 4200 attack if it's not negated or attack reduced by any way. It really helps you push for game or get over bigger monsters. You pump Rampage up to 4200, that's 12,600 damage. If you use this effect, this card doesn't deal damage. This card means Seeger doesn't deal damage, not the card you powered up. If that was the case, it would be pointless and nobody would play it. Keep in mind too, if Borreload attacks your Seeger, please use its effect. Why? They're still going to steal it. Yes, they are, but it's still this monster, so it will not deal any damage, and then on your turn, you can Mega Fleet them, kind of how we talked already. We have one more monster, and then we're going to get on to our preference cards. So, without further ado, it's hard to type and talk to you guys at the same time, because I'm trying to think on how to spell stuff. At the same time, I'm trying to think of what to say to you guys, and it's not necessarily the easiest thing to do. So, Predaplant Verde Anaconda card is broken for us. Hopefully it can avoid ban lists like that. Dragoon will be interesting to see what they do, whether we see an errata on something, or hopefully they hit the Red Eyes Fusion. I would prefer, but I could see them hitting Verde as well. Not for at least one full format, though. We are getting a Dragoon format. People need to get over that. So 2 effect monsters, really easy, generic, do it at the end of your combo. Target a face-up monster on the field, it becomes dark. Once in a while that comes up, especially with, say, like Super Poly. Speaking of Dragoon quick, we'll actually talk about this card next time, but Super Poly, for when this combo is really big and bad and everywhere. Dark monster, Dragoon's dark, Super Poly outs the board. So you can pay 2,000 life points and send a fusion or polymerization, normal or quick play spell from your deck to your graveyard. First thing, it needs to say fusion or polymerization in the name of the card. You cannot send Power Bond. You cannot send cards that perform a fusion unless they say one of those 2 words in the name. Also, sending is the cost, life points, and send is cost. You cannot Ash the Verde Anaconda effect. You can send Cyberload Fusion, but Cyberload Fusion is not the best to do. Personally, I would not recommend it too often. Overload Fusion, far better target to do it. Keep in mind you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of the turn. That's after you summon that fusion monster. But yeah, so really good, helps push for game. It enables a lot of 2-card like core extender, makes Infinity, Verte, and Rampage, which deals 9300 damage, and you can absorb an attack position monster for a very potential OTK. I don't want to say very easy, but it's potentially an OTK quite often. So now we have some cards that are really down to preference if you play them or if you don't want to play them. Back to the main deck, we're going to go with Cyber Dragon Fear. So I recommend Fear personally, but Cyber Dragon Fear, level 4 for overflow, chain blocks, which core resolving right now is so important in the game. Even your Naxter, you summon your Naxter, target your Infinity, or you target your Nova, something like that, and you chain your Fear. You say target your Rampage, chain your Fear, and you can dodge negates. Free body on board, when's that a bad thing? When is a free body on board a bad thing? But it conflicts with Machine Dupe. You can't use Machine Dupe. Well, just summon it in response to the Cyber Dragons off Machine Dupe, and it doesn't conflict, and you still get the body. And if you have Dupe, you want them to hit core. So, I mean, all of those are kind of relevant facts. I still recommend it. I think it's a very good card. Like I said, chain blocking, overflow, best 2 reasons to play it. Our Kaiju. I say our because it's searchable. Any deck that has a searchable Kaiju, unless we're in a very controlled format, even then, Altergeist, Kaiju the Faker, stuff like that, it still helps. It's so good. But, so, I mean, obviously they have manifestation, but we're not going to talk about matchups in this video. So, any deck that has a searchable Kaiju, in my opinion, should be playing it. Dinos, Cyber Dragons both come to mind. Search it out, especially when we have Fortress and Anima and Infinity all as built-in natural ways to out it. So you don't even have to worry about how am I going to get over this 3300 beater. Well, you don't have to worry about that. You have multiple natural ways to do so. A card that not too many people are playing, but I had someone use it against me in a tournament not too long ago, and it caught me really, really off guard. Or it wasn't a tournament. I was testing a new deck. But yeah, so Cyber Eltanen. It can't be normal summoned, which means you can search it off of Cyber Emergency. We touched on that earlier. Must be special summoned by banishing all your light machine monsters from your field and graveyard. So you can attempt to play through their negates, banish everything, summon it, board wipe them. Non-destruction, by the way. Keeping in mind it does activate on the field, so if they have a negate, they can negate it. It does pair up really, really well with Cyberload Fusion in the fact that you banish everything and then you can use Cyberload Fusion, shuffle it back into your deck, get your monster, blah, blah, blah. And it's really good board wipe, but in this format where we're kind of mixed between control and combo, I'm not a huge fan personally. Maybe side it for the more combo-heavy decks. Play through their boards, and then you Eltanen and just board wipe them, and then you outgrind them. So, couple spells that we saw not mentioned yet. Gotta actually type out the first words first. Cyber Rev System being the first cyber card. Obviously, we didn't cover it. I do think this card is optional. I do not think that this card is mandatory, which is funny because when it first came out, I said it was a 3 of. But, so how the times have changed. Basically a monster reborn that can also summon OG from the hand. OG, original Cyber Dragon. That's the only one I can summon from your hand. People always overlook the destruction effect. I've had so many people try to destroy like a Seeger that's Rev System back. And you just say, oh, I summoned it off Rev. You can't. And then they're like, well, then I want to destroy that. And it's like, no, it doesn't stop you from trying. It just stops you from doing it. You can't change your target. So Rev System, Monster Reborn, searchable, like we mentioned, makes Naxter a +2 since you can summon, well, Naxter makes Rev a +2. You revive Naxter, then you revive something else, or like we said too, revive your Seeger, and then it can't be destroyed by card effect, and it can boost itself to 4200 attack. I found it to be something that I usually wasn't searching, and I usually wished it was something else in my hand, so I have cut it in some builds, and I do think that it's completely not necessary, but it is just good to have. Cyberload Fusion, another one that I always wish it was something else, and I never really searched it out. So Cyberload Fusion is another card that's very, very good. I'm not going to say don't play it. I will not say don't play it, but it's not necessary. It's not needed. It's not mandatory. Fusion summoning using Cyber Dragon monsters, or okay, sorry. Never actually read the first part. It's just kind of what else would you be fusion summoning? So it does actually need to be a fusion monster that lists Cyber Dragon monster as material, which, like I said, that's never not going to be the case. But you can shuffle back all of your cards from your field if you necessarily need to. That's usually not ideal. You want to more so use the banish cards because, like Overload, they're already expired. They're already used resources. So shuffling back, resource, grind game, longevity. It's a quick play, so you can do it on your opponent's turn for Rampage. Pop their cards then, especially versus like Altergeist. They go end phase. You go Cyberload Fusion. Well, first you could say if you have Overflow, Cybernetic Overflow, use that, pop some of their cards in a new chain. Well, I mean, it'd have to be because Overflow banishes on resolution. But anyway, Cyberload for Rampage to not miss timing needs to be Chain Link 1. So then you use Cyberload before the traps are active because they need to be set for a full turn, Rampage, and pop them that way. Almost done here. So the next one is the most controversial one, obviously. You guys know where we're going with that already. So machine duplication. Cyber Dragons, machine dupe, they go hand in hand. It's one of the best power cards. It's one of the best win more cards. It's one of the best extenders when you're trying to build a unbreakable board. So why on earth would people cut it? Well, I've mentioned in so many other videos that we're not going to do that here today. This card is optional. If you play 3 Cyber Dragon, play machine dupe. If you play machine dupe, play 3 Cyber Dragon. If you play 1 Cyber Dragon, don't play machine dupe. It's about that simple. Really not much more than that. Like we touched on with the OG Cyber Dragon, are you trying to build big boards? Are you being way more aggressive? What do you want from your deck? Does machine dupe fit the bill? There is no answer as of right now. What's better, dupe or no dupe? We will figure that out, hopefully, as soon as possible, I guess, is the best answer for that. So another card that has seen a lot less play, but for a long time I considered a staple. It's a consistency card. It's a card that usually you don't mind seeing. It makes Repair Plant live. You can send Core to banish it to get a dupe target. You can send Core to banish it to summon a Naxter to revive something. You can send Hertz to get Core or Naxter back. You can send, really, it's versatile. You can send your 3rd Galaxy Soldier if you're afraid of bricking and you're already in control of the game. There's so much you can do with Foolish. It's not a bad card, and if you're at 39 and you don't know what you want to do, it's always a good option. Couple extra deck monsters that are preference calls. Cyber Eternity Dragon. Personally not a fan, at least in this format. So what does it do? 2 machines plus Cyber Dragon monster. It's an easy one to summon off of, say, Cyberload Fusion, because they are not Cyber Dragon while banished, but they are Cyber Dragon monsters. So, sorry, we'll try and finish this up for you guys. We're actually pretty close to the end now, so thanks for sticking with us. Thanks for sticking through those couple times where I completely forgot where we were going and what we were doing. Like we said, if you could make out what I was trying to say in that jumbled mess before I comment on the post down below, just straighten out that little snafu, because, well, I don't feel like editing it out because I guess I don't care that much, guys. I like you guys to see that we just do this right off the top of the head. It's all raw footage. This is me. This is what you get. And that's probably how it's always going to be. I will not edit videos for clickbait, throw titles at you guys for clickbait, claim everything is the best ever, 1 million negates for clickbait. So if you have a fusion machine monster in your graveyard, your opponent can't target this card with card effects in a format where targeting is actually pretty prominent right now. That sounds really good. It also cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. Downside, most of the decks that target right now, Striker, Eldritch, stuff like that, they can banish the fusion monster from your graveyard and get it out of the way. If this fusion summon card you control is sent to your graveyard by an opponent's card, not necessarily affect opponent's card, there is the difference, you can special summon a Cyber Dragon from your hand, deck, or graveyard, so that's pretty good. You can banish it from your graveyard. Your opponent cannot target fusion monsters you control with card effects, and they can't be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. So all really good effects. I just feel like this is a very format-dependent card. Ooh, mistyping there because we're going for Cyber Twin Dragon here. I like Cyber Twin for pushing for OTKs. You'll see that in episode 3 in the combo library, what you can do with that with a little spice. So needing 2 Cyber Dragons, keeping in mind OG is the only one while banished that is Cyber Dragon. You can't summon it off of Overload Fusion either. But this card can make a second attack during each battle phase. If you boost it with Seeger, that means it has 4,900 attack. 49 times 2 is 9,800 attack. It does not activate. If you use Cyberload Fusion in the battle phase after everything else attacks just to summon this, that's 2,800 attacks at your opponent because it does not need to activate. Again, pretty good. And if I have space, especially in builds with dupe, I do recommend playing Cyber Twin, but it is not necessary. It is not needed. Finally, we got 7 cards for you guys that fall into this category. There could definitely be more, but this is what we're going with for now. So a few cards that have been basically power-crept out of the strategy. Who knows what cards will be added to this in the future? No one really knows. Who knows if one of these comes back because it just happens to be good again. First off, we do have a main deck monster. I've seen a lot of people playing this, and it's just not that good, guys. Cyber Dragon Dry. Essentially, you can make all your Cyber Dragons level 5s, or you can use it with Fear to go into a rank 4 play. But it's just not that good, guys. Don't play it, please. I don't know. I can't go into too much detail because there isn't details to go into. It doesn't do enough point blank. Another card that people really want to not let go of, Power Bond. Cyberload Fusion, so much better. Overload Fusion, so much better. Verde, can't use it from the deck. Well, that's all you have it, guys. Seeger does the job. Power Bond, Power-crept. You wanna know why this card came off the ban list? It's not that good, guys. Again, Power-crept, doubling the attack of all your machines. You might steal a game here or there, but having it in your hand is going to cost you more games than it wins because it's just not going to help. It's not going to give you what you need to win. This is a card a lot of people ran for a while too, but it kind of just, if it gets negated, that's just a huge neg. We don't benefit enough off of it. So 1-for-1 to me got Power-crept at least 4 Cyber Dragons. Cali effect, use this in a video, and with that combo, core dupe any extender already, meaning core dupe, emergency soldier, hurts, repair, rev system, machine dupe, overload fusion, any of those combinations make the combo anyway. You do not need network whatsoever. It's just a garnet, it's just a brick, it's just a card you do not want to see. Again, Power-crept, please do not play it. The nostalgia behind this card isn't good enough to play it. Nova target though that does piercing, 4,000 attack. That's still not that good, guys. We need our cards to do more than just unga bunga, me big attack, me attack you. Like that's not how Yu-Gi-Oh is anymore. It doesn't work. Cyber End Dragon has been Power-crept. Unless you're playing in a mirror match tournament, this card is not that good. It's great in the mirror match, but Chimera Tech Overdragon, guys, it's time. Most of us have let it go. I only see it once in a great while, but yeah, not that great. So Overdragon is our last Power-crept card. Hopefully you guys all learned something, I'd say, and hopefully enjoyed this, but few things I wasn't too happy with how the video worked out, but we got 3 more episodes to knock out all the kinks in this. It actually went much longer than I expected. I'm glad we broke this up because it'd probably be a 2.5-hour video if not. So if you're not already subbed, so you don't miss out on parts 2 through 4 when we cover things like techs, hand traps, combos, variants, versing the meta, side decking, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And until next time, guys, have a good one.